Hey guys, so today we're going to talk all about graphs. Now, after the Zoom meeting on Friday, your classmates kindly suggested that this video would help you guys all be able to understand a little bit more about graphs. So that's what this video is. So we're going to do that, and I hope you enjoy it. Okie dokie, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So first of all, we're going to talk all about coordinates. Now, you say, what is a coordinate? A coordinate is made up of 2 points. Now, these 2 points are listed in this form right here on the left. Okay, so just a quick overview. Where on this graph that I have drawn right over here, where is the x-axis? I'll give you a second to think. Yeah, so our x-axis is our horizontal line. Remember our sunset, the top of the T? Yeah, so that's our x-axis. It goes horizontal, side to side. Now, where is our y-axis? I'll give you a second to think. Yeah, it goes up and down. It's our vertical line. So our y-axis is our up and down. It's our vertical. It goes from the floor to the ceiling and the ceiling to the floor. Okie dokie. Now with that knowledge, when we go look at these coordinates right over here, I'm just underlining them in blue. They go in a specific order. Now, I want you to understand what coordinates are. The coordinates are what the point is on the graph. Okay. Let's first of all find out what order these numbers are in. Okay, what do you think would go right here under this first one on the left side? Is it the x-axis or the y-axis? I'll give you a second to think. If you said x, you're exactly right. So the number from the x-axis goes first. Now, you can probably already guess what the second number is from which axis, and you'd be exactly right if you said y. Now, I want to explain this to you. Let's do a example coordinate. Okie dokie. So let's do, for example, let's go with 3, 4. Okay, coordinates are always separated by a comma because it will tell you how far you need to go over and how up. Does that make sense? Okie dokie. Now let's actually practice and put this coordinate on this graph over here to the right. Okay, 3, 4. I'm going to count, and I want you to count with me. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm starting at this point right here. Okay, now this dot is going to go up 4 times. Now count with me. Okie dokie. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So my dot goes all the way up to right here. That is how you place a coordinate on a graph. Does that make sense? Okie dokie. Now let's jump into some translations since we already know how to graph our coordinates. Now, in order to do transformations on a graph, we have to have coordinates in a shape. Now, let's do this together. Okie dokie. So I'm going to give you 3 coordinates. I want you to graph them on your piece of paper. Okay. Are we ready? I'm going to write them down. I'll give you a minute to write it down, and then we will do it all together. So, the first point I want you to do is 3, 4. The second point is 5, 8. And the third point is 7, 4. Okay? Now, my purple lines indicate how tall and how far to the side I go. Now, I have 8 lines to the left and 8 lines to the top. You need to make sure that you have the same amount. Okie dokie. Go ahead and write these down on your graph. Okie dokie. So let's go ahead and do these together. So I'm going to go ahead and start. If you are finishing up, that's totally fine. So let's start with 3, 4. Okie dokie. Awesome. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to count up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put my point right there. Now let's do 5, 8. You ready? So I know I'm 4 up. So 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is my 8th line, but now I'm over here at 3. I'm going to go 4, 5. So that means my next point will be going right here. Now you see what I'm doing? I'm kind of going off of what I've just done previously, so I know how many numbers I've either gone up or to the side. Now, our last point is 7, 4. Where would 7, 4 be? Okie dokie. So I know I have 5 down. I'm going to go 6, 7. And don't I have another point that's already 4 up? If you said yes, you're exactly right. So I'm going to put my line, I'm going to put my dot for 7, 4 on this same line that 3, 4 is. But I'm just going to make sure it's on the 7 line. Okie dokie. I hope that makes sense. So, in order to do a transformation, the points on the graph must be connected. So, what we're going to do is we're going to connect our lines to make a triangle. Awesome. So, the first transformation we're going to go over is the slide, and that is called translation. A translation equals slide. Now, understand this for me. The sliding motion is happening of all 3 points. So that means I could go, I could slide down to the bottom, if that makes sense. So that means all 3 points would slide down. Does that make sense? I hope so. Now, remember, this translation or this sliding motion can happen down or up or to the left or to the right. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Okay, now I have another empty graph, but I'm going to use those same points that we just did again. So I want you to do it again. We're going to do 3, 4, 5, 8, and 7, 4. Okay, you did this already, so you should be able to do it fairly quickly, okay? So let's try this. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go right here. So I know that's 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to pull my 7 up to where my 4 is. Now I know my 5. Let's count 4 more up. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to put my, let's make sure this is all right. There we go. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to connect them like I did earlier. So they're in a triangle again. The next transformation we're going to talk about is called rotation. Now I want you to write this down in your flip book. Rotation equals rotate. Now I want you to put this right here in red on the front page, on the back of the front page of your flip book, that cover sheet. Okie dokie. Oh, really quick before I forget, I also want you to put this right where you put the rotation. Okay? The translation equals slide. Okay, you good? Awesome. So, rotation. So you rotate this triangle around 1 point. So one of the 3 points that we drew will not move. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to show you. Okie dokie. So rotation would be me simply taking this point right here and this point right here and moving them this way. Okay, so let's say I did this. and that's my new point. Okay, those are my two new points. So I rotated this figure around one point that stayed the same. And that point that stayed the same would be your 5, 8. That coordinate would not move. The other two do. Does that make sense? I sure hope it does. Okie dokie. One last one. Okie dokie. And our last transformation is called a reflection. So I want you to write down in your flip book, reflection equals flip. Now, I've already drawn my points on here. Now, all I have to do is connect them. Okay? Now, oops, that is one messed up triangle. Okay, work with me, people. So, here's what I want you to understand. Reflection, think of as soon as you wake up in the morning, you go to the mirror, you go to the sink and you brush your teeth. When you look up into the mirror, what do you see? You see a reflection of yourself. So the reflection in math, for our math transformations, this is a mirror image of what you have already drawn, if that makes sense. Now, I want to show you how this would happen, okay? So, this point right here, it's a regular triangle pointing up. Now, if I'm going to reflect this, I'm going to reflect it over this x-axis. Sorry, that's a little too light. I'm going to reflect it over this x-axis. Now, my new points that I have would be all the way down. So, my new reflected image would be upside down triangle on the other side of the x-axis. Does that make sense? Now, just understand, reflections can happen down or they can reflect up above itself. Does that make sense? Just remember, with reflections, all 3 points will become new different points. Sound good? Okie dokie. And that's all, folks. I hope that made a lot more sense. I hope this was able to help clear up some questions that you may have. I miss y'all so much, and I can't wait to see y'all at some point. Okay? See you later. Bye.